Hello everyone, welcome to this captivating world of Love Checkup where love takes the center stage. I am Ella. Join us as we delve into the intriguing landscape of relationships. So we are going to be unraveling the complexities of the recent time divorce trend, and we're going to be doing that with our most esteemed guest, Mr. Francis Nnadozie. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
He's a social worker, he's a trainer, he's a counselor. We are going to be talking about divorce today. Yeah. So that is why we have him on the show. Here is a little information on divorce rates in Nigeria that you need to know about.
Nigeria has a notable divorce rate, with various studies indicating different statistics. According to a report by Divorce.com, Nigeria ranks 11th among countries with the highest divorce rate. A more detailed analysis from a scholarly study indicates that the crude divorce rate in Nigeria is approximately 5 per 1,000 population, while the overall marital dissolution rate, which includes separation, is about 11 per 1,000. This suggests that around 3% of marriages in Nigeria are dissolved through divorce or separation. In specific regions such as Kano, alarming trends have emerged where only 32% of marriages last between 3 to 6 months, highlighting the severity of the issue in certain areas. Overall, these statistics reflect changing social dynamics and increasing acceptance of divorce in the Nigerian society.
So, Mr. Francis, what revelation can you share that causes this surge of divorce, especially in this society?
If you look at the trend, as you rightly said, and you look at the society we are in today, you find out that there's a great difference between the society and the society of our forefathers. You find out that a lot of things have changed. And you now ask yourself a question. In those days, our forefathers used to marry 2, 3, 4. You understand? Yes, and sir. They stay with them. But what is happening now? Christian religion brought the idea of one man, one wife, but still we have a lot of people divorcing or separation. What's the problem? Now, first and foremost, in those days, when they want to marry, there's what we call inquiry.
Okay.
It doesn't just end there. I see a lady I want you to marry, or I see a young man I want my daughter to marry. No, they go beyond that to inquire about that family, to know what that family is made of. You understand?
Yes, sir.
These days, I don't think we do it. That's what they call Abuja marriage. And Abuja marriage, you know how it goes. Now, apart from that, there's what we call nature nurture in every human being. Okay? What is, in psychology, what is nature nurture? Now, nature could be, our makeup, biological makeup, psychological makeup. Each person have it. Then you have the nurture, which has to do with our environment, our exposure, our socialization.
Our orientation.
Okay? Our orientation. Thank you very much. Now, what orientation are we going through? What socialization are we exposed to? What environment are we exposed to? The environment we find ourselves today are so toxic. You understand?
Yes,
so you find out that people go into marriage or relationship these days with double mindset, not total commitment, because that is what they are wired to believe. That is the kind of exposure they have seen themselves. Now, there's no way a child will be raised in a violent environment and that child grows up tomorrow and turns a different way. No, he has to exhibit violence. So even the divorce rate that is going on now, both parents are not doing good to their children because they also will exhibit that. What happens is that what they see, when children see, they internalize. And when they grow up, they start acting out. But unconsciously, or, they might say, I will not do this. But unconsciously, you see them acting it out. You understand?
Yes.
So if we want to get it right, we need to revisit our background. We need to revisit our upbringing.
Study how it was done.
Yes.
In the past. Okay. That's really, really very educative because this is what people don't understand. Okay, the next question is, how important is premarital counseling?
Good. Very, very important. Very, very important. But the question is, at what point do you go for premarital counseling? Some people go 1 month, 2 weeks to their marriage. And if you start counseling that person and you start seeing loophole, can you have the God to cut off the relationship at that point? So premarital counseling is supposed to start early enough. If possible, 3 months, 6 months. The moment you set your eyes on the person and you say, I want to settle down with this person, go for premarital counseling. In that premarital counseling, if you go to the right person that will do it, that is, they will empty you, they will help you to empty yourself, understand yourself, and also your partner. At that point, you will now know whether two of you are compatible or not. And if you don't do it, that marriage is going to be on a survival mood, struggling and survival mode.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So what proactive measures can community leaders and organizations take to fortify these kind of relationships? Because when somebody, for instance, Imo State, when somebody gets married to somebody from Imo State, they already have it at the back of their mind that, that's what they say now. It's a normal thing that they say already. So if you mess up, everybody goes their way. That's
the thing we're talking about, nurture. If you go with that mindset, you are passing it on to the children. That when you married so people from this place, that marriage is not going to last. And if they try it, they go with that mindset and it will not work. So again, it's not good to generalize because it's not every Muslim person. You understand?
Sure.
Okay, now, traditionally, I think we have to go back to the drawing board. Because if you ask me, the day you did your traditional marriage is the day you did your marriage. This white wedding we go to church to do is just ceremonial. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, even if you go back to the Bible, you trace back to the Bible, the marriage in Cana was a traditional marriage. It's not an English marriage. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So traditional marriage is the main marriage. And before you get to that level, you must have done your necessary things you need to do about the people in question involved.
Both couple.
Find out about their family. And two of them should also understand themselves, understand where they are coming from. What are you wired of? It's not about being a man or a woman. The person behaves the way they behave because of the way they are wired, they are made, they are programmed, not because he's a man or a woman. You understand?
Yes.
So that is why it is important to engage in premarital counseling. But these days, people don't see it to be necessary. I'm in love, I'm in love. What is love? Sometimes people float under infatuation.
Yes.
They say it's love.
Fantasies, true.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
So I think we need to go back to our tradition.
Okay.
Go back to our roots.
Going back to the
Find out how it was happening with our forefathers then. There was no separation. There was no divorce.
And they had successful marriages.
Yes. And again, when there's divorce or separation, there's what we call brutal separation. Brutal separation is a separation that you did not notify your partner that you're separating.
Separation.
You just go. So if you want to separate, inform your partner. Say, I think at this point, we need to go our separate ways. It's no longer going to work. But let's give ourselves time, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we go our separate ways. You are preparing the person's mind because when you separate like that brutally, it affects the person psychologically and the mental health. And it will also impact on the children, if they are children. You understand?
Yeah.
So there need to be pre-information and arrangement towards that. Just like divorce, you go to court, blah, 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 blah.
Sign papers.
Yeah, before it comes out.
Okay. Recently, early this year, there has been so many domestic violence where partners kill their partners, burn people, And I think I've come across an interview of a woman who is involved in domestic violence. Okay. And they were asking her, why are you still in this marriage? All she kept saying is, as our tradition, they don't accept a woman back home. If I leave this marriage, where do I go to? If I leave this marriage, what do I do? I'll have to protect my image. If you leave, it's a shameful thing that you married and you left. And she's suffering from domestic violence.
Thank you for this issue you brought up, because when I said that we need to go back to our tradition, which is right. It's not, but again, we should be mindful of the fact that not everything they do that is good. We take the right ones and leave the ones that are not good.
Yes, sir.
Now, the tradition that tells you that when you are married, you are married, it's like you have sold the person out.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
That you don't, if anything happens, you don't need to come back. No, your life is at stake. If life is involved, if there's a threat to life in your marriage, you need to save your life because you can't exist again.
True.
Okay? So I think there are certain things also we need to checkmate in our tradition.
But is there a tradition like that says you must stick to that marriage when?
Yeah, there are some traditions that say when you're married, you're married. You don't need to come back. And if there's any problem, if you're coming back, they will not accept you in your home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that
This
also
Nigeria,
need
there are some
amendments.
traditions. Yeah, of course. And these are the areas our lawmakers need to come on board. Even at state level and national level, they need to come on board
Make
to,
these laws.
to amend these laws so that it will be good for everybody. Even themselves, they are also struggling with marriage, the lawmakers, some of them.
True. Because nobody is perfect.
Yeah,
You're human.
nobody's
You
perfect,
definitely
of course.
fall out.
We are all wired differently.
Sure. Okay, from your experience, sir, what are the pitfalls that you've seen is common while people divorce?
There are many. One, power tussle. Yeah, power tussle. Some women don't want to be under control. They want to be on top.
The man.
You understand? You talk about finance, money. If there's no money, women don't survive where there's no money. Sorry to say this. Again, you talk about the background where the person is coming from.
Yeah,
You understand? These are some of the, anybody, a man or a woman who talks about divorce or wants to divorce, is either the person is coming out from a family of divorce or is brought up by a caregiver that is divorced, maybe a single parent or something like that. Because when you trace the background, you must see.
Wow.
You understand? So these are some of the issues.
Okay.
Okay, violence also in the family. We
How
call it intimate partner violence. If the man or the wife is brutal.
With words,
Exactly,
with
yeah.
actions,
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
it is. Okay. How about guys not being proof? Because I think this society now, men don't want to be men anymore.
The guy doesn't want.
The husband doesn't want to be the man. They lack provision. They don't want to take responsibilities as the man.
Well, you need to find out whether the person doesn't want to take responsibilities or
And they are
there's something that
incapacitated.
is hindering him.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I ask you this question. If you're a woman,
Yes, sir.
because there's a case, a woman came and said, okay, I make money, but is it proper for me to support my husband with my money? The question to that woman was not, there was no answer, but the question to that woman, because it was a counseling session. Now, if anything happens and you're incapacitated to cook, can your husband cook for you and the family? And
Okay.
the woman said yes. The husband can cook and she will eat. So you see, the question is answered.
Yes, the question is answered. But these are people who, what I mean by my question earlier is there are men who don't want to take up the manly responsibilities. It's a different thing that a man, at some point, you are doing okay as the head of the family, providing the necessary things. And then there's a difference between you want this woman to take up this thing. You don't even want to do the things you have to do as the man in the family. You say the woman should pay rent because for the fact that she earns more, she has to do all those things.
See, that is why some people believe that there's no manual for marriage. Some people believe there's manual. It's the way it works for you.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes,
But anything you have to start from the day one to sort it out. You understand? Yeah, maybe the man is up to do when they started. At a point something happens and you want the woman to do. You talk, you communicate.
Communicate.
There
Okay.
must be communication, effective communication in the home.
Okay.
Even if not, carry the children along from age 5, engage them, talk with them, let them get involved in the family affairs. But the moment you start doing it, see, one important thing I want to, now that I remembered it, in every home, in every family, in every marriage, both the husband, both the wife and the children, remove the I, replace it with the W.
We.
If there's illness, you remove the I and replace it with
We are
W.
sick.
You now get wellness.
Yes, sir.
But the moment the I continue to dominate, that shows you selfishness, selfish interest, self-centeredness, and there's going to be problem. So if every home can cultivate that communication habit, replace the I with the we, that will create a great change.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It was nice chatting with you. It's been an educative one. Like, if you're watching, if you're listening, you must have picked out a whole lot of things from this conversation. First of all, from the facts that you need to go back to your drawing board. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Francis. It was a wonderful time chatting with you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to follow, like, and comment, then share for more thought-provoking discussions. Bye. See you next time.